Welcome, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Jain Irrigation Training Series. I'm Richard Restuccia, your host and Vice President of Water Management Solutions at Jain Irrigation. And today we're going to be talking about water reports for better water management. You know, Peter Drucker coined the term, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And that's really what we're talking about today, how to generate reports, what are the easiest ways to get reports, and then more importantly, after you get the report, what do you do with it? Because sharing it is really important. And this is probably the most effective way to get people to reduce their water use is to measure it, talk about it, and share some ideas for improving your conservation. So helping us through this today is Mike Palumbo. He's the Territory Sales Manager for Jain Irrigation. And you know, Mike's been in the water world for quite a number of years now, over 10. You may recognize his name. His father, Dave Palumbo, actually taught me irrigation when I first got into the business. And so he's got this long family history of irrigation, water conservation, and more importantly for today, smart controllers. He's been in the smart controller world for more than 10 years. And has worked in technical positions as well as sales and consulting positions. So we're going to gain a lot of knowledge and wealth of knowledge from Mike today. But the other thing I just wanted to mention about Mike is Mike's got a real unique ability to boil things down that are complex in simple terms. And I think that's why his customers like him so much and appreciate the help he gives them, because he really puts things and communicates in a way that makes it easy to understand. So that's why I'm excited to have Mike on today, helping us through reports for better water management, because sometimes these things can be complex. So Mike, welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Richard. Really appreciate the opportunity.
So Mike, you're living and working in Southern California, Arizona. You're seeing some areas that have been hit by the mega drought really hard. Seems like this year is going to be maybe one of the worst years ever. Are people talking more about smart controllers and water conservation? What's your take on that?
Yeah, just hearing out in the field with property managers, contractors, public agencies, water conservation is kind of at the top of their list, having some good conversations. Like I mentioned earlier, even though we've got some rain recently, I think there's still a true focus on water conservation from all the end users, contractors, so I don't think it's going away anytime soon, which is going to be good for all of us.
Yeah, and you know, along these lines of if you don't measure it, you can't manage it. I watch very carefully every month the amount of people that are searching for smart controllers on Google, and it's been interesting that we've really seen those numbers accelerate in the past 2 or 3 months. I think it's pretty directly related to the drought and people looking for solutions, and also solutions to their what they're discovering as being outrageous water bills. And no surprises there, because many of them are using the water and not finding out how much it costs or how much they use until 2 months later when they finally get their bill. So I think you have some solutions for that today for us.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to dive into kind of what they can do to help measure, especially if they don't have any flow sensors. I think it's going to be hopefully beneficial that our contractors, our HOA property managers, public agencies will be able to use moving forward and really help really monitor kind of how much water they're using and being proactive approach instead of waiting for those water bills that you mentioned, you know, a month down the road when it's already too late. So we're hoping you know, they'll be able to learn some proactive approaches from us today.
Yeah, well, awesome. Let's get into it.
Yep. Sounds good, guys. Thanks, guys, for having me. Just want to kind of just basically review on our Jain Unity dashboard where to find reports. Those of you who have a user login, you'll be able to go to our main dashboard. And at the very top left-hand corner, there's going to be 2 tabs. One's going to be the dashboard that takes you to the actual scheduling, and the other one's going to be reporting that I have circled there on the right-hand side. So they're really easy to find. Once you find it, once you click on the reporting button, it's going to give you 5 different options, which I've highlighted down below. We're going to focus on 3 of them for today. Those 3 will be measured water usage, estimated water usage, and then also alerts. So those will be the three focus. Runtime reports are good as well, but these are the three main focus for items for us today.
Yeah. So Mike, can you just help me out a second? Can you tell me the difference between measured water use and estimated water usage?
Yeah, measured water usage is going to be if you have a flow sensor on site, and that flow sensor is able to measure what's going through the pipes at any one time. That's going to give us a report back and let us know exactly what's happening in the field. That is the most accurate because that helps for any variances in the water flow and for leaks and all that other stuff. But so that is measured water usage. Estimated water usage is going to be if you don't have any flow sensors, but we still want to be able to have an idea of how much water we're using. You'll be able to input your estimated flow rates within the controller per station, and at least have a good guess as far as how much water you're using for the day, week, and also month.
Okay, that's fascinating, and it presents a couple more questions for me. One, I would think every smart controller installed would have a flow sensor, but that's not the case, is it?
Yeah, most of the new installs do. They will have a flow sensor per controller or per backflow. A lot of the old sites, which we have a ton out in all of our areas, those typically we don't see quite a few flow sensors on those. Typically, those maybe 25% of the time could have a flow sensor, but a lot of them we see without them.
Yeah, and why is that? I mean, does that have to do with trenching and sidewalks and stuff?
Yeah. A lot of times the point of connection to where the controller is at, it's through concrete, through driveways, just a lot of obstacles they would have to get to. So it's really tough to get to those to be able to add flow sensors after the fact.
So the good news for me, right? I'm in an older home. I've been around forever. I didn't get a flow sensor installed when my home was built, but I could do something called estimated water use.
Yeah. Estimated water use. I think it's one of the most underutilized tools that we have. And I think we all should be using this a lot more, especially without having a flow sensor, just to give us a really good idea of what we're using, real day-to-day activity.
Yeah. Well, great. I'm really excited to be learning more about that in a little bit.
Yeah. So as you mentioned earlier, I don't know if you coined the phrase, Richard, but if you don't measure it, you can't manage it. I hear that all the time for you, and it truly makes sense. If you don't know what's in what flow rates you have out there, how the heck are you going to manage it and be able to kind of compare it to a budget and be able to really dive into your site and know what's going on. So you really have to measure the water usage by flow sensors, or how we talked about before, manually inputting the information. So that's going to be a key point in our conversation today. Secondly, we want to share the information as well. Yes, we can measure it, we can look at it, but we want to be able to share this with our contractors in the field, our technicians, our irrigators, also with HOA boards and property managers. Being able to share this information and having those meaningful conversations will really help out in the whole process of water management. So we look forward to helping everybody learn a little bit more and going forward today.
Yeah, so that's interesting, Mike. Do you see how many contractors in general do you see out there that are actually measuring water use and sharing the information in general with property managers, end user customers, HOAs?
I would, to be honest, I would say it's less than 10%. There are some really good contractors out there and water managers who do this. They'll put together their own spreadsheets or use our information. But for the most part, I know everybody's spread thin these days, but I know for the most part, I would say it's probably less than 10% that I've seen, that I've spoke with, that actually really sit down with property managers and owners and really go over water budgets and water information with them.
So I just see two really big opportunities, right? And one of the opportunities I lived at Valley Crest, and that is this opportunity to promote yourself as a contractor who's cares about and does something about water management. And when you're able to do that, and you need the right tools to be able to do that, and I think Jain Unity is one of those right tools, but when you have the right tools to do that, then all of a sudden that well, what's your monthly maintenance number becomes less important, because your monthly maintenance number might be the highest number they get. But what you can show them what they're going to get in water savings and reduced fees there more than makes up for your higher monthly maintenance. And I think that this is a real, it's still a secret in the industry, right? There's not enough people doing this. And man, when somebody starts doing it very consistently, they're going to grab a lot of work.
Yeah, absolutely. It sets yourself apart from everybody else. That's the biggest thing there, as far as, you can provide value-added services with this. It really sets yourself apart.
All right, so I'm not a big spreadsheet guy, right? I don't have the Excel Bible sitting on my desk. Is this information hard or easy to get?
It's fairly easy to get. A few clicks of the button and within our system, and which we'll go over the next few slides, you'll be able to kind of pull these reports within minutes, seconds actually. So they're really easy to get, really easy to pull, and really easy to understand. So with that said, we'll get to the next slide that shows that.
But I just had one more thing to add, and that was, I think about this job that the property managers do. And it's a really hard job because they've got people pulling at them all the time, the HOA residents. And I noticed that when we started supplying water use reports to the property managers, and they would submit that to the boards really appreciated it. And it elevated the status of the property manager as well with that board. And then you started to hear other boards contacting the property managers saying, hey, will you manage us? I want to get some of those reports. And so this is the other step, the other piece of that puzzle that I think really makes sense in the water management. That is the ease of which the property managers can then share it with the boards.
Yeah. Actually, I had a conversation with the property manager yesterday, and they were just telling me how kind of spread thin with all the different things they have to manage on a certain site, whether it be the roofing, the asphalt, irrigation, landscape, all that stuff. So being able to present them with easy reports to use, to utilize and share with the board really helps their job out, and definitely helps them with their relationship with their client. So we're going to jump into just kind of a quick definition of the measured water usage. It's the amount of water flowing through the pipes with the use of a flow sensor, as we discussed before. With Jain Unity, we measure water usage in 3 different categories. One is going to be scheduled water usage. Second is manual, and third is other. That's how you'll see it when you guys log into our site and pull these reports. And just want to kind of go over what each one represents. So scheduled water usage, number 1, is going to be usage that is captured during a normal scheduled irrigation event. So this will be your everyday schedules that are going out there, your run times on your controller. That's going to be captured, probably going to be about 98–95% of the water that we're going to be using is from scheduled watering events throughout the site there. Number 2 is manual water usage. This is going to be usage that is manually activated from the controller. So if you're going to be activating stations, doing any wet checks from the actual controller, this would be considered a manual usage. Or through your Unity mobile device, that would be manual usage as well. So if you're activating, doing wet checks, activating stations from your cell phone, that would be considered manual usage on the reports. Very, very helpful to know what the differences are, so you can capture this and exactly know what's going on with your property. Last is going to be our other usage. This is going to be anything that does not have to do with the controller, your phone, or the actual user interface. This is going to be usage from quick clippers, manual bleeding from the valves, any leaks that are going through there. This is a stuff that we don't have from the controller, so we consider this other usage. Good guideline is to check for spikes with water usage. So we're looking for anything that's any spikes with water usage could tell us, hey, there's a little bit of a break. Mainly that's going to be with flow sensing though. If you're using what we call our estimated water usage, obviously we won't know with flow sensing, but this other usage is definitely with flow sensing involved in the project.
I love that you record that, Mike, for a couple reasons. The main one, you're a baseball guy. Did you ever see a baseball coach that didn't water the field after every practice? You know, as a must do, drag the field and then water everything.
Yeah,
so,
every time. Yep.
And so,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's not just baseball coaches, but it's everybody in general, right? That's a big generalization. I understand that. But if the plant doesn't look well, we tend to just want to pour more water on it. And I think what we find is most instances, there's a higher percentage, much higher percentage of plants that are receiving too much water. They get with disease or other problems as a result of that overwatering. But what our intuition, what we like to do is pour on the water. And this is where you find that challenge, right? Because sometimes you find that the other usage is higher than what is actually scheduled. So I love being able to see that.
Yeah, and the bar graph on the next page will show that as well. So it's a good report to go look at to see, are we doing too much manual usage, and figure out why, and asking the questions from irrigators out in the field, why we have so much manual and other usage out there if it's on the bar graph. So yeah, it's a definitely good tool to have. So here's just kind of representation of our report. As you guys will see, once you log in, you'll select what sites you would like to see on the report. You'll see your blue is going to be your scheduled usage. Your green is going to be your manual usage, and other will be in the orange. So you can kind of get a very good idea of what you're using out on the site. As we mentioned before, if that green bar gets a little bit too high, we can ask questions. Why are we manually watering a little bit too much? There may be a good explanation for that. There may be that, hey, maybe the pipe or the layout of the actual the station is not good, so we have to overwater a little bit to compensate, but at least we'll know ahead of time and be able to bring that back to property manager, back to the board for any enhancement revenue for contractors. But it's good to know what each one is and what each one does.
Hey, so Mike, part of the mystery of my water bill and your water bill and everybody else's water bill is mine doesn't come in gallons. It comes in HCF or CCF.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't say, 85,000 gallons. It says 22 units or 19 units. Do I have to do that conversion?
No, the system will automatically do it for you. So if you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, you can select which kind of flow units you want. So it will come in HCF or gallons. So you can, before you do your report, you can toggle back and forth if you like, but you can put that in HCF. In addition to is on the interval adjustment, you can do this on the daily or you can do this on the monthly, be able to run your report. So it's kind of nice to have if you're getting monthly water bills, you can do a monthly report instead of daily, and it's going to total everything for you as well.
Wow, and I can export this data easily, right?
Yeah, we can do it in two different ways. On the top right-hand corner, you'll see download report. That's going to put it in a PDF file for you. And then down below this here on your main screen when you log in, you'll see an opportunity to download in Excel, which you can take in Excel and manipulate it however you want, pull the information that you need from it, and be able to share that with the customer.
Yeah, so if I do it in Excel, I can easily compare year over year, month to month, and wow, this is actually
easy.
Yeah, that's a lot of power in one tool.
Yeah, it makes it really easy to do, and like you said, comparisons, be able to put that on a spreadsheet. It's fairly simple. Also, guys, time period here, so you can compare last 30 days, custom dates, all that information's there. Select which one you prefer, and then you'll be able to pull that report as well. Like Richard said earlier, if you want to compare certain dates, just pull a custom date in and be able to put the dates you want, and we'll put out this report for you guys.
If I have tiered water use here in San Diego, right, each level gets a higher price and it gets higher and higher, and increments grow bigger and bigger. So I could monitor month to date and know when I was about to hit a next level in pricing and decide to water or not based on that.
Yeah, based on that. And we are working on something too that's going to help us out with that. And it's not out yet. It's something we're working on, but yeah, we do have a water cost feature that's coming out that's going to help us really take water management to the next level when it comes to that. Absolutely.
That's exciting. Does it ding like the gas pump?
It will, yes.
All right.
Estimated water usage is ideal for sites that do not currently have a flow sensor installed. As I mentioned earlier, this is one of the biggest underutilized functions, I think, across the board for all water management. If you don't have flow sensing, it typically nobody puts in, or that I've seen, a lot of our sites don't have estimated water usage. With that information, it's going to be hard for us to really manage the water, what's being used on site, and have any comparisons to what their actual water budget is. So this will give us the ability to estimate gallons or HCF without having to use a flow sensor. It's going to account for scheduled usage, but keep in mind this does not include any manual or other usage. This is only scheduled usage because it's taken the stations times the runtime times the flow rates to give us our estimated water usage. Without having a flow sensor, we don't account for any manual usage or other usage on the site there.
So Mike, for people who aren't as into irrigation technology and water management as you are, how hard or easy is it for me to figure out how much water a zone's using per minute?
Yeah, it's very, very simple. So we got a couple options to do. One is we can identify the pressure of the heads, determine how many heads are on the line on that station, nozzle size and pattern, and then reference that to the manufacturer's catalog for GPM information. Once you gather that information, you plug it into our flow rates, and that will spit out our report. Second option is an easy option is a water meter. If you activate valves, make sure everything's off for one, and then activate valves for say 5 minutes, review the water meter, see how much gallons went through that meter, divide that by the 5 minutes, and that's going to be your flow rate on a per minute basis. So we take that information, upload that into the system, and that is it. It's fairly simple function to do. I think we should do more of this across the board. I'm guilty of it at my house, but I think it's something we need to do across the board to really understand how much water we're using, especially when we don't have flow sensing available.
So if I understand this correctly, I can figure it out per zone, and then every time my zone runs, automated by Jain Unity, I can then see how many gallons were used.
Yep, absolutely. And it's kind of you can see daily, weekly, monthly. You'll be able to pull those reports. Yeah, so it's a good function that that we should all be using.
Yeah, because now I get 2 months of bills is how often I get it, right? I get 6 bills a year, so it's 2 months. So I get July and August mailed to me in September, which means I get it middle to end of September. So now I know what I used in July at the end of September, which does me no good because I can't do anything about it now. But now if I have estimated water use, I can look at it today.
Yeah, you can look at it today. You can see what you've done the last week, 2 weeks, do comparison to where you are for the budget. And it's not going to be 100% accurate because obviously we don't have flow sensors, but it's going to get you pretty darn close, which is better than not having it at all.
Yeah, and then if I run a zone of, so this is, this is a great comparison, so.
Yeah. Here's guys, so once you gather your information, your GPMs, it's easy as putting in these numbers here. You type in the numbers, whatever your GPMs are, the bottom right-hand corner, once everything's filled out, you'll hit continue. Once you hit continue, it's going to spit out a report giving your estimated water usage similar to the measured. It's very simple, very easy to do. It sends tremendous amount of information here for you guys.
Yeah, I love this because I was considering, trenching up part of my driveway in order to connect a flow sensor. And this is a lot easier. It's not as accurate, I get that, but it's light years ahead of where I am today.
Yeah, it just gives you a good snapshot of, like you said, when you have those water bills 2 months out, you're getting them. This, you can run a snapshot, 3 weeks into your to your monthly water bills and be able to kind of see where you're at on a scheduled usage. I think this is then it gives you the opportunity to determine as a contractor HOA, do I continue watering and possibly go over my budget, or do I cut back a little bit here and be able to stay within my budget? It gives you guys the option. Without having this, it's guesswork, kind of where your water bills will come in.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
So once you guys install the GPMs for our site here, it's going to give you the same graph as it would on the water measured water usage. So if you see the top left-hand corner, it's going to give you the total water for the site there. This is a 30-day graph for August, but if you had other dates, you can put in there as well. But this is your measured or estimated water usage graph here. pretty simple to read, understand. I think, it's very, very intuitive for everybody.
And again, Mike, I can just a couple clicks, email this out to somebody, and we can start to have a meaningful conversation about water.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Download report in the top right hand corner, saves it in the PDF. You can also do the Excel. A few clicks of the button, you can get this over to somebody, and like you said, have that conversation with them where you're at for the month, where things are going, and kind of what the forecast is with the system. So it's very easy to use and very easy to share.
Awesome. The other thing I like about this too is, we're in a drought right now. We're not getting the rain we got a year ago. So there's a chance I'm using more irrigation today than I did a year ago.
Yep, absolutely. And we get that call a lot. Our water bill went up. Our water bill went up compared to last year. But then we got to do those reports and figure out why it went up. And it's not just so much, oh, it's the contractor, it's the controller overwatering. Was it hotter this year compared to last year? What were the ET rates? Did we have more rain or not? There's a lot of different functions, and being able to pull those reports will help provide some documentation to let the HOAs and let the board members know why water went up. Could be cost, it could be usage, but without having reports and this backup documentation, it's very, very important to have.
Yeah, that's a whole heck of a lot better than me opening up my bill in September and going, wow, look at July.
Yep, all those surprises are never good unless it's other things. But when it comes to making payments on stuff, I don't like big surprises when it comes to bills. The other next thing we'll get into, guys, the third one is the alerts and kind of what the value of alerts are. For the alerts allow us, the end user, contractor, property manager, the ability to stay connected to the site without physically being on the site. Obviously, our irrigation happens at night. It happens when we're not there. We don't have eyes there from our guys in the field. So this is kind of going to be our eyes in the field for us without us physically being there, which is great for us. It's going to help out the site. It allows us to be more proactive from the contractor and the maintenance standpoint as well. Few of the most common alerts that we see, guys, are going to be the misconnection alerts, high flow alerts, low flow alerts, open short circuits. Just want to point out those, kind of what they are. Misconnection alerts are very important. When you get these reports, if you see misconnections, that means your controller is not communicating with our server. That means it's not getting a daily download for the ET weather data. And also, if you have any upcoming rain events that you want to be able to use our forecasted rain feature, it won't be able to communicate because it's missing connections. So if you have those, call in our customer care team, schedule a service tech to come out there and help you guys figure out what's going on. Those misconnection alerts on a daily basis are really important to stay on top of.
So Mike, are there some reasons for misconnections that are maybe caused by the users?
Yeah, there is. So misconnection alert on the user's end would be, if you have any guys out in the field who may be undoing antenna from the modem, do anything like that from the controller, make sure all the connections there. But also if they turn the unit offline, they will still get misconnection alerts. That's going to tell you that the controller is offline and not receiving the data there. So yeah, misconnection alerts from the controller are a possibility from the contractor standpoint.
And Mike, are these just alerts, or do they shut off water too sometimes?
They could shut off water. So in the event of a flow, high flow, low flow, they would be able to shut off the water irrigation. So on a high flow event, you have your parameters set, and if the flow rates exceed your parameters set, it will shut the controller down and send you an alert and let you know exactly which controller, what site, which controller, and what station had the high flow alert. So it's a very powerful tool to have there.
I think we all have our own favorite high water use story, right? The $30,000, the $40,000 water bills definitely solves that. But we also have a bunch of other stories of much lower numbers, but still shocking numbers for what water was wasted and the dollars spent for a problem. So I love the alert, and I love the shut off with the alert too.
Yeah, and it's very important our contractors stay on top of these just to maintain them. Like you said, there are also dollar amounts when it comes to high flow, but also when it comes to low flow, there could be some plant material that's stressing out because water's not coming out. of the valve. So it's very, very important to stay on top of all these alerts, especially with open circuits and short circuits as well. That's going to tell you kind of what's going on in the field with the wiring, flow sensor, the solenoid's going bad. If you have a bad wire connection, if you don't stay on top of it, that can make a small problem turn into a major problem. That's Mike Z's next point below. By being able to provide the opportunity to be proactive and address any minor issues before they become major. As we mentioned before, having replaced plant material is not ideal at all. And irrigation during rain events. I know HOA will go around and seeing stuff irrigating when it's raining outside. If you're missing connections and you're not getting that updates, there could be some added cost as far as uncaptured rain, free water, as we call it, rain events.
Yeah, and dead plant material is also very costly to contractors, especially when it is identified as something they should have been catching with their monthly water audit.
Absolutely, absolutely. Last thing on the item here, guys, is reports will save time and money for all of our contractors. It's going to provide you guys a site name, controller name, station number, and the alert type. All that equals less labor trying to find these alerts, being able to stay on top of things, which equals less time out in the field as far as trying to find it. Less gas costs, man hours, all that is dollar savings for contractors, and be able to be proactive in that approach. Next slide, guys, we're going to go just a simple report. Just want to show you a sample of what you would get. On the right-hand side is all the amount of different alert types that you can print a report for. I just did this one for open circuits, valve shorts, high flow, and misconnections. Then you can see the Excel spreadsheet on the left-hand side. Will give you all the information there. So you'll see you can pull this for per site, multiple sites. It's all up to you, however you want to manage your reporting. But this is a simple Excel spreadsheet that you can give to your guys out in the field where they can go be productive with their time and go exactly to where the trouble spots are moving forward.
Now, wow, I can't imagine how much time it would take you to figure all this out on your own, right? By going and observing each site. This saves hours and hours. That's amazing.
Yeah, everybody gets a ton of alerts as far as into their mailbox. This helps kind of sort it out and be able to identify the ones that are going to be the top priorities for them. So it definitely helps out saving time there. But yeah, being able to manage that and select exactly which ones they need is really, really a powerful tool.
Yeah, very nice.
So when we get these alerts, what should we do with these reports? I just jotted down a couple items that I feel that is good. So as a contractor, I share alert reports with your team and be proactive what's going on in the field. You always want to kind of keep your team updated on what you're getting in the field, what you're seeing on the reports, and make sure they know what's going on as well. I think getting buy-in from them, they can see what's happening, is always good. Review water usage reports to stay on track to monthly budgets. I think this is really, really powerful. I don't think we have enough people doing it, but reviewing water reports to stay on track. As we mentioned before, those unexpected water bills that are way, way high, it'd be nice. It's a little bit easier to take if you can update your property manager, update your HOA boards, update your managers when it comes to these water budgets, how we're tracking throughout the month. Surprises are okay sometimes, but when you get some big, large water dollar amounts, those sometimes are not good. And especially with HOA boards, you have a fixed budget for costs. Then you want to share these water reports with the property manager and your HOA board. Having a team effort is, I think, a key, and it's going to help. It's going to help you with client relations. So the ability to track water usage shows an added level of water management to the client. I think that is huge. It's going to be able to show them that you're on top of things. You're really, really looking out for their best interest when it comes to their water bills, their budget, and their property.
I think that's so true, Mike. I just want to say, I don't think I've ever interviewed a salesperson ever who didn't say client relationships are the best thing you can do. Build client relationships. Then when I ask specifics about, well, how do you build relationships? That's where it gets a little thin. But certainly what you're pointing out here is an opportunity, a way to really build a solid client relationship. And we all do know the value of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it goes a long way, not only for your site that you're working on, for other sites too that could be potential projects for you. Sharing your water usage reports, provide support documentation. I think having the support documentation to, if you have higher water bills, at least if you're tracking it, you're on it, at least you can share that with the property manager, and you have support showing kind of what's going on in the field, what you guys are doing. It's better than not having anything at all. I think when it comes to these, events where we have some higher water bills, if we don't have any documentation, it's kind of throwing our hands up in the air. It's like, what are we doing? So I think having that really, really helps. And again, client retention, being able to share these reports with your client, I think it goes a long way. I think that relationship and being able to have an open communication with your property manager, HOA board, goes a long way to not only, like I said, this project, but future projects with these companies as well. What should I do as a property manager, HOA board, owner, public agency? A lot of things are similar. A lot of things are the same. Review alert reports, know what's going on with your site. Don't just count on the contractor to review them. Review them yourselves. Take a look what's going on when it comes to alerts, your water budgets. Be proactive approach. When you're looking at alerts, you want to look for items that are on there several times. You want to make sure your contractors are staying focused and on top of things and managing it and getting these fixes done in a timely manner. Review water usage reports with the contractor. A lot of times our contractors are extremely busy, spread a little thin. So we want to be able to at least be able to print out the reports as well and review those with the contractor to stay on track with the monthly budgets. Obviously, it's the money coming out of your budget. So your responsibility as well to help monitor the site a little bit as well. So I think it's always good to kind of have a pulse on what's going on with your water budgets here for the sites. And when you do that, you'll be able to make monthly budget decisions based on real data. If you're coming up on a water, 4-week water bill that you have a budget of so many gallons, you at week 2 or week 3, you can pull reports and kind of see, are we getting close to to our budget? Are we going to go over? And then you can make real data decisions based off the budget that you have and either cut back on water where your plant may stress out a little bit, or go ahead and proceed with watering with paying a little bit extra of the water bills. But at least you'll know, be able to make that decision on your own and not after the fact. So in conclusion, guys, just want to verify kind of the things that we wanted to make sure, know where to find the reports in Jain Unity. I think we went over that on the main dashboard. Hit the reports tab and then click on the report that you like. It's very simple to use. If you have any questions, concerns, you can call your local sales rep or their ET Water customer care line. They'll be able to help you out. I really recommend this is utilize the estimated water usage feature if no flow sensor is available. It'd be nice to see that our sites, majority of our sites get updated with this feature and be able to be a true water management during this time. I think that's going to be a powerful feature that we can all use, all benefit from. Know your site's water budget and what the actual usage is. Without having the EWU up above or measure water usage, it'd be hard to do that. So track it daily, weekly, monthly, or however works best for you. Figure out a way that with your time that you can pull reports just to track it, and then also meet with your client to monitor this stuff. It's really, really key to know exactly how much water we're using versus actual budget. And then monitor your daily alerts and be proactive to resolve in a timely manner. So hopefully you guys know where to go pull your alerts from, how to select which alerts you want, how to print them out, and be able to disperse that to your team. And then hopefully you guys learn a little bit about creating an extra level water management, property manager owner, by having some meaningful conversations. Be able to converse with them. Make sure they know what's going on in the field as far as water management. Make sure that they know that you guys are doing all you can to help with their budget. I think being able to have their pocketbook in your mind as far as being able to reduce water costs will go a long way with property managers and HOA boards as well. And that, appreciate you guys' time for today. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to me. There's my phone number, cell phone there, email address, and I'll be glad to help you guys out in any way possible.
Mike, fantastic job today. I learned so much, and I understand now the real power of these water management reporting tools. And we didn't even get to all of them available in Jain Unity, but these are three differently very powerful ones, and I appreciate you taking the time to step us through that.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you to all our viewers who made it today. We really appreciate it. You can find this training as well as over 100 other trainings on the jainsusa.com/trainings webpage, or just go to jainsusa.com and search, and you can see them all under trainings. We'll be back on Friday. We're going to be talking about World Ag Expo. That's going to happen next month, live and in person, back from their virtual expo last year. We're going to be talking about how you can make the best of that expo for you and your customers this year. So again, Mike, thanks very much. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you all back here on Friday. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Richard. Take care.
Bye now.